I always like to take a little bit of time and just say that I appreciate you guys for listening. We've been doing this for 8 going on 9 years now. It's frankly, it's a ton of fun for me. I love this show. It's a great opportunity for me to help you guys understand what's happening behind the scenes, really get a clear understanding of what's going on in this market right now. So that if it comes time for you to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, the longer you've listened to this program, the more you know about the process, what to look for, red flags to be wary of, how to hire an agent. It's so important in a market like this that you're working with somebody that you can trust. And I know that sounds a little corny, but man, it's the truth. There are so many agents out there. Their agents are everywhere. Everybody knows somebody that has a real estate license. And so it's really important that you protect yourself in a market like this, because it's a lot easier in a market that's highly competitive, especially for a buyer, to get emotionally wrapped up in the process, to have that feeling, especially if you yourself are a competitive person, to say, well, I'm going to win. What do we need to do to win this deal? And then you start to, if you're partnered with an agent that doesn't have your back, that isn't going to at times play devil's advocate and say, well, hey, if we go down this path, I just want you to clearly understand what's going to happen as a result of that. That, in my opinion, is the mark of a true professional, to tell you what's going to happen based on the decisions you want to make. Here are the options. Here are the outcomes. How would you like to proceed? Not to be the person that says, this is what you should do, unless, of course, you ask for that. And frankly, I love it when my clients ask me, Brian, what should we do? Because it just means they trust me. They know that my advice is in their best interests. The commission is just a byproduct. I mean, it's sales are the equation for sales is whoever gives the most value, in my opinion. And one of my favorite sayings is, a smooth sea never made a skillful mariner. So think about that person for a second that's been playing a musical instrument their entire lives. They don't really have to read sheet music or, look up guitar tabs to play their instrument effectively. They start to write their own music. They know how to improvise. They make it look effortless, kind of like it's second nature to them. That's what a skilled agent can do for you when it comes time to work with someone to help you buy or sell a house. We know how to get you the best deal possible. We know how to help you sell your home for the most money by doing things that other agents aren't doing. We know the right things to tell you to do and not to do, because we've been doing it for long enough that we've seen enough success and failure to know what can and cannot be accomplished, where the loopholes are, and how to help you take advantage of certain points in the process to keep more of your money. I mean, that's really what an effective agent can do for you, is they know how to problem solve. They know what's going to happen before it happens, and they give you that clear indication. But it's important also to note, I think, that agents only market the really good stuff that they do in their business. You're not going to see an agent brag about selling a house in 5 months. You're going to see him brag about selling a house in 2 hours. That then becomes the public perception of their performance. Or you can be smart and you can realize that selling a home in a day or two, although somewhat realistic in a market like this, isn't necessarily the reality of that agent's business. I like to think about a picture I saw a few years ago of a goldfish, and it was swimming toward the top of the water, and it was wearing a shark fin. And so, of course, you see the shark fin cresting the surface of the water, not the goldfish underneath. And that's the power of social media and in the highly unmonitored nature of our industry. I mean, every once in a while, I'll go into a real estate agent's website, and the claims that they make in the information that they provide, at the very least, should create some sort of fine or ethical violation against that agent. But because our industry is so void of regulation and oversight, most agents kind of get to say whatever they want within reason, I suppose, and get away with it. They make these unsubstantiated claims about their performance with knowledge, by the way, that no one's going to go behind their back and fact check them on it, which is something that I wish our community of real estate agents and our association would do a little bit better job of overseeing. The blatant misrepresentation of information, especially on websites and just overall marketing media, that's misleading to people that, by the way, rely on that information to make informed decisions. So in a market like this, I think it's really important that you protect yourself. And this, I talked about this at the very tail end of my program last week, but it's really important that you interview multiple people. Whether you're buying or selling or investing in real estate, talk to multiple agents. It should be very clear to you the difference between somebody that's experienced, somebody that's going to be straightforward with you, be a pleasure to work with, and get the deal done at the best terms for you, versus those that are just kind of giving you the presentation, so to speak. And that's what agents have gotten really good at in this market. Excuse me, they've gotten really good at the pitch. But because the market is hot, once they've been rewarded the business, once you have signed on the dotted line, I think the public's perception of agents in many instances is true, which is, all right, I'll get the photographer to take photos, we'll get it in the MLS, and then we'll let the feeding frenzy begin. Yes, that happens. It more often than not, there's a multiple offer situation on a property when it hits the market. But that doesn't mean that that agent is doing the best they can for you. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're protecting your bottom line, that they're making you money, that they have figured out a way to be of more value to you than any other agent in the market. And so it's kind of like, I think about this. Growing up, I played baseball up until I played freshman year of college. And played, one game at the Little League World Series. We were on ESPN. It was awesome. Won a gold medal in AAU. I mean, I was played baseball at a high level. Had some great guys that I played with. Several went on to play in the majors. Had incredible coaches that were with me throughout my childhood. One wore a Super Bowl ring. The other played in the MLB for over a decade. Incredible guys. And so the way that I kind of make that correlation is, if you're playing all-stars, right? Well, let's say you're just playing regular baseball. Let's say you're playing Little League baseball. The competition gets a little tougher when you get to all-stars. And then after you win regionals, it gets a little harder when you go to states. And then when it gets a little harder when you go to the Little League World Series, you start to realize that the talent that you thought you had maybe isn't as good as what you are now seeing. Talent by comparison. It's just kind of like in your own company, you think to yourself, man, I've got amazing talent. But then you go to some sort of, business expo or some sort of mastermind event, and then you see other people that are on stage that are really killing it. And you kind of take a step back and you think, wow, maybe I'm not as big a fish as I thought I was. It's kind of the same thing when you're interviewing an agent. If you're interviewing one person and they can speak intelligently about the market, they seem like they've got the process figured out, they've sold another home in your neighborhood. From your perspective, you think to yourself, man, this person, this is a good agent. This is somebody that I should hire. And then you go and interview somebody else and you realize, wow, look at all of the things that they're doing. Look at all the value they're providing. Look at their customer service. Look at their reviews. Look at wow, this is incredible. And now that first agent that you interviewed, which at that point in time you thought was the right choice, now becomes an obvious, second fiddle to this other real estate agent that has clearly figured it out. And so you want to give yourself the benefit of those options. Interview those agents, ask tough questions. A great question to ask in a market like this, especially if you're going to sell your home, is how are you going to find buyers for my house? What are you going to do specifically? I don't want to hear about what other agents are going to do in the form of bringing their buyers. How are you going to promote my home to buyers? I can almost guarantee you that most agents cannot answer that question because almost everything that real estate agents do is reactive in nature. It goes in the MLS. We hope other buyers that are working with other agents see it and come and see the property. Oh, we're going to put it on Zillow. Every property goes on Zillow. It's part of the syndication process of the MLS. So if they're talking about Zillow, newsflash, everybody does Zillow. And it's not like they're driving traffic to Zillow. Zillow does that on their own. You're just hoping that a buyer stumbles upon that website, searches in that price range in that area with a home of your similar features and finds your home and schedules a showing. There's nothing that agent has done to promote your home to that specific buyer. They did that themselves. So it's really important that you understand what they're going to do for you, aside from the customer service side of things, which is also something that our industry just severely lacks in. So if you want to walk through that process, you want to ask us some tough questions, you want to interview us and other agents, we love that. We are happy for the opportunity, and we hope to impress. So if you'd like to do that, feel free to give us a call, 843-400-8009. That's 843-400-8009. Or you can check us out online, listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. And remember, 2.4% commission to list your home with us. That's one of our differentiating factors. We don't discount any of our services. You'll find that we do way more than the typical agent, and we do it for less. So listingsincharleston.com. or call or text 843-400-8009. Stick around for the last few minutes of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
More stimulating talk on real estate matters with Brian Beatty next on 1250 WTMA.